In today's world, the voices of our elders are often drowned out by the noise of daily life. In today's video, I'm sharing some personal reflections on a topic that's been weighing heavily on my mind and heart: our elders. And these are the people, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and even neighbors or mentors who've helped shape our lives through sacrifice, love, and wisdom. I'm sharing my personal experiences, observations, and lessons learned from the incredible older individuals in my life. Our elders hold a wealth of wisdom and perspective we often overlook. From being talked over in conversation to feeling invisible in a busy world, aging can come with painful emotional challenges. And we have the power to make a difference simply by listening, being present, and honoring their continued importance. Many of them feel overlooked and unheard in the later seasons of life. I want to explore how we can do better by listening with intention, making space for their voices, and reminding them how deeply valued they are. This message is for anyone who has been loved or taught by someone older. Let's talk about legacy, respect, and how to honor those who came before us. Let's open up this conversation and give our elders the attention, respect, and love they've earned. Many of the important lessons I've learned didn't come from my own mistakes. They came from simply listening to someone or observing someone who's been down that road before. I just want to have an honest conversation today about why I think we should be listening, honoring, and truly seeing our elders, our loved ones, as they age before their wisdom is gone forever. I've had the absolute pleasure of listening to some of the older members of my family over the years. In those quiet moments amid the chaos of life, I've heard a lot of sadness. They are a treasure trove of experience, my friends, so much of which can save us from repeating their regrets. And while I'll admit, there have been times I didn't want to hear it either. The advice or the, well, if I were you, moments, times I knew better or I thought I knew better. I can't count the moments where their words echoed later exactly when I needed them most. And, listening doesn't mean you have to agree. It doesn't cost a thing. And it might just save you years of heartache in some of the decisions that you make earlier in your life. Something else I've noticed is how often people speak over those who are older. Maybe we do it without even realizing. I think more often than not, that's the case. We might rush to fill the silence, for example. But some of our well-seasoned loved ones just need a little extra time, I think, at times to find their words or to formulate their thought and then to speak, to articulate that thought. And they've certainly earned that. I do try the best I can to pause, to wait, because when someone struggles with memory or speech, interrupting can so easily derail their thoughts. I know, because I experienced that myself too in my 50s. So giving someone space to speak is more than politeness. It's truly a form of love. I've actually had the great pleasure of being close to several people in their 70s, 80s, 90s, people I love dearly. And let me tell you, watching them slowly lose pieces of their independence is one of the most quietly heartbreaking things I've ever witnessed. Whether due to illness, disease, age. These are the people in our lives many have raised children, built lives, and overcame trials that many of us can't even fathom. And yet now some of those same strong, resilient souls are trying to hold on to their independence with every thread they have left. And if we live long enough, that'll be us someday too. Sometimes in my eagerness to help, I forget that what they really want isn't just help, it's dignity. Not long ago, someone I hold very dear said something that really shifted my mindset on this. I reached out to assist them, and they gently said, "I appreciate that, but I want to do what I can while I still can. I'll let you know when I need help." That has stayed with me because I realized I had started to assume that they needed assistance instead of just asking. Of course, there can come a time where eventually we actually do have to jump in and anticipate their needs and help, without them asking, of course. But that's the hard part, I think, is determining that time. But it comes, you know when to jump in, how much. But I was grateful for that moment because, like I said, it changed my mindset. It opened my eyes. It opened my mind. I think sometimes we start to see our elders as less capable, maybe a little more fragile. And while there is a time to step in, there's also a time to step back, to allow someone to do things for themselves as long as they can, as long as they're able, even if that takes a little bit longer for them to do something or to formulate that thought, or even if it's imperfect. And I can tell you that space we give them, it matters. The space we give them to achieve what they need or want to achieve, because they just might need a little more time. Can't move as fast. I mean, I can't move as fast as I used to now that I'm in my 50s compared to what I was my 20s, 30s, and even 40s. I mean, I notice it takes me a lot longer to clean my house. Actually, I could have zippity zip through cleaning, get it all done in a day. Now it can take me 3 days to clean my house. I get tired. I think if we just listen to their silence, we can actually learn a lot. Ponder that for a moment, if you will. And here's the part that really breaks my heart. I think there comes a point, whether we realize it or not, where some of our elders start to feel invisible. I know this because, again, I've listened, I've heard them talk. Nobody should feel invisible, especially, when you've lived this life, you've done all these things, and then, that last chapter of your life, and you feel like they might still be present physically, but they may no longer feel seen. They're at the table, but unable to hear the conversation, so they don't participate, and they just sit and feel invisible. Or there's a lot of chatter. Their thoughts might come a little more slowly, so by the time they are able to contribute what they want to that conversation, it's moved on. Everyone's moved on, so they never get to share their thought, maybe. Or people just talk right over them. They grow quieter, and before long, they kind of just fade into the background. Of course, we don't do this to our loved ones intentionally. It's just kind of a gradual happening, in my experience. Not because they aren't still full of value, but because the world moves so fast and we're all so busy that I think we forget to slow down enough to truly see them. And I actually think this holds true for people of all ages now. The world is busy and chaotic and fast. And we're not taking pause to interact. And this video is about our older loved ones, because that's where I really see it happening. And it saddens me. I'm part of it too. So I guess I thought maybe if I make a video, if anybody sees it, maybe try to bring a little bit of awareness to this situation. And that's why I felt the need to share these thoughts, so we can be reminded of just how important and special our elders are, and bring awareness to something I've witnessed and I've been guilty of myself. And that brings me to another point. I've actually heard many times people saying, well, everybody's just so busy and I don't want to bother you. I don't want to be a pest. And it's never bitter in a bitter way. It's just matter of fact, because life moves at lightning speed, and more than ever now, it seems. But what if we just paused every so often? What if we made time, even just a little, to be with the people who helped make us who we are, who helped shape us in our life, the ones that we love and hold dear, the ones who one day we'll wish we had more time with. In my mid-50s, I've come to realize the memories and the relationships we build, especially with those we love and hold dear, are all we truly carry with us when our time here ends. Everything else just fades away eventually. Another thing I've heard, and this one really sticks with me too, is how some elders feel they've lost their purpose in life, like they no longer matter. But let me tell you, the elders in our family, they're the glue, the memory keepers. That one's important, even if you don't realize it now. It's very important. The storytellers, they hold us together across generations. I've actually seen families fall apart when they lose that central figure. That's something my husband and I talk about often. We're now kind of entering that role ourselves, planning events and ways to just get the family together, spending time with loved ones, catching up, and sewing those threads together so they don't unravel. When it's your turn and that baton is passed, carry it with grace, my friends. Do it happily and cheerfully, and know that it matters. If this video spoke to you, I'd love for you to take a moment, call someone older, sit with someone, ask a question you've never asked, and let them share. Listen to the stories. You'll be amazed at what you learn, I promise. And if you're someone who is older now, please know you are deeply loved. You're needed. You're seen. I see you. In the comments section, tell me about an elder who shared your life. What lesson did they teach you, maybe, that you still carry with you? Let's honor them together. Or just share your experience if you have ever felt your heart ache watching someone you love grow older, losing their independence. Share something that they've taught you, or a moment you'll never forget. Share your story below. If you're that elder now, again, if you've ever felt invisible, I want you to know you're not. You are the living wisdom in our families, our communities, and our hearts. If you listen closely, nature teaches us so much. The way the wind gently carries the leaves, the way the sunlight still finds its way through the branches. There is beauty in stillness. There is strength in softness. And there is profound wisdom in the quiet voices we so often overlook. Our elders are like these trees, weathered, rooted, resilient. They've seen seasons come and go. They've stood tall through storms we may never understand. And even when their branches bend, their presence is still shelter. We may remember to sit beside them, to ask the questions, to hold their hands, to listen while there's still time. Because love, the kind that truly sees someone, that's the legacy worth leaving. Thank you for listening.